Here's an example of how you can make a catcher. This is a rapid design template, and for example, you could take the 1 3/4 circle right there, and then there's a line at the top and at the bottom, and you can take a straight edge and draw a line right down the center like that. And then basically whatever design you come up with, you can make a mirror image of it. And say the slot would go right there, and you want it to be about 1 3/4 or something. Let's see. Say you want a 2-inch. Oh, that'd be too wide, I think. 16th. Yep. Right there. Got that mark. So what? Remove some of this. Yeah, here's a little better view right here. That would be 15/16 right there. Put a mark right there. And then take a little off the top there. Take your knife, and all you have to do is just very lightly make a little cut right down, a light cut right there, and then cut that on the line. Then fold that over the catcher, and then pencil mark that, and then you have your catcher pattern. And that's an example of how to make that over to the cutout block over there, and punched an end punch. It's 1/4 of an inch end punch. And take the straight edge like this, move it over. And then you have a catcher. Then when you're cutting this out, blocking it out of your saddle leather, you can leave it a little bit bigger and then come back and scallop the top if you would like, or you can leave it round. Either way, but that will kind of give you an idea of how to make a pattern, and you'll become a pattern maker if you're a saddle maker. Now it's time to cut out all the catchers and the rear maker's patch. That's what I'm going to do at this time. And there's no sense in going over cutting out each piece. So I'm going to show you how to just cut out one. And keep in mind, you don't want to get into a whittling contest like an old timer would with a stick of wood. You try to make your cuts clean as you can the first time. Occasionally there'll be a little place stick out or something you'll have to trim off, but the idea is to make a clean cut the first time, and if you have to cut in the same groove a couple times to get it cut loose, that's good. But just bear in mind that you want to try to go right on the line when you're cutting your piece out. just punched 2 holes up here at the top of the catcher with the number 10 Weaver oval punch. And that's what the end of it looks like. These are really nice punches. They punch good. They're polished around the edge here, and they have the proper angle on that edge where it really cuts good and pops back out and doesn't stick when you punch it in. I've made about 2 passes around there, and then now I'm coming in from the bottom side and making the final cut to get this plug out of the center of this hobble catcher here. Let's see. First of all, I've got the little D fixtures here that go on the front catchers on each side. I've got those prepared. I shaved them down a little bit, turned them back, and then tapped them down right there, put them in front of the fan and let them dry. I've got my catchers cut out, and I thinned the liners down that I'm going to use. And now I'm going to glue those on the back of there. I like to be real careful with my glue when I'm putting it on, that none runs over the edge. What I'll do here is put like 2 coats on each. I'll put a coat on there, let it dry, and then put another coat, and then glue it and hammer it down. And then I'll groove where I'm going to machine stitch that on there. Like I said before, if you're doing a single slot catcher, you will not need to sew them. It's not necessary. If you use a heavy enough, good firm piece of saddle skirting for your catchers, they'll wear for many years that way. And on my maker's patch in the back, I've got it wet. I shaved it down a little bit where it goes under the cannel. Edged it with the number 2 edger, and then rubbed the edges. And it's wet right now. I'm going to put my maker's mark right in this area right here. The flank cinch, I've got it wet, and I've got this turned back like this, and then I tap down this area right here. And then this is wet, and I've got a mark for the center where I'll put the buckle for that goes to the front girt. I fix a strap there. I'll put a 3/4 inch brass buckle right in the center there, and then I'm going to put my name stamp on each side of that. That's just something I do to mark my things. Okay, the next thing I would like to talk about is the glue. After it sets in the glue jar for like 3 or 4 days or a week, it gets thick, especially in the summertime. This is in the wintertime when this is being shot. But I used a Masters cement thinner. It's the put the lid on tight that time, last time. On my stirring device here is a piece of tin that I've cut, and that, I mean, when it gets so much glue on it, I just throw it away and cut another one. Okay, both of these glues are thick in these jars. This is the homemade jar, and this is the glue pot. I'm going to add some thinner here, and then I'm going to stir it up with my drill. It's a little thick. Take a couple minutes to get it thinned out. I thought I'd share that little tip with you. Maybe it'll save you some time. It's going to take a few minutes to get this thinned down because I've let that sit there several days. Once you get your glue that's in the pot or your glue jar, once you get it kind of thinned down after it's thickened up, you can add glue to it. Be sure to shake your glue can up and just add the proper amount. You don't want to overfill your jar or glue pot or get it up too high. And you continually have to take something like side cutters and trim off the glue that kind of gets stuck on there. So that's about ready right there. I'll put this aside, and then when you first stir this, mix up a batch of glue, it might be just a little bit thin. If it comes out of the can fresh, sometimes it's just slightly thin, but within a little bit, half a day or so, it'll thicken up. So what I'm trying to say there is you kind of need to be careful and not to let it run over the edge. You want to, like, when you're brushing your glue on, I guess what I'm trying to say is go out and kind of lift up. You don't want to go in like that because it hit on the edge. You want a clean product. Another thing to think about is adequate ventilation. In this shop, it's fairly good. Sometimes it gets a little stout in here, and I'll open the front door and let fresh air in. There's probably something even better that you could do, but just keep in mind you don't really need to breathe these fumes more than necessary. So I've just about got the first coat of glue applied on the catchers and the liners, and then I'm going to let these set a while and then put another coat on. This first coat will kind of seal. It goes in, and then it kind of seals off and dries up, and then the second coat stays pretty well on the top, and it really catches good. If you should get some black on your leather, like if you wet something and it gets against steel, it's going to turn black. I've got some black spots on my breast collar here. I'll give you an example of how to remove the black spot. I use oxalic acid. It's kind of crystals, white crystals that you dissolve into water. And you take about a tablespoon and put it in a jar like that and add water to it, stir it up, and let it dissolve, and then that will help remove most of the black spots you might happen to get on your leather. I would not recommend putting it on the leather before you tool it because it makes it really tough to tool. That would be something like if you had a tool piece of leather, or you had a piece of leather you're going to tool, you would want to tool it first if it had the black spot on it, and then put this on after that. I've got a piece of sheepskin here that I dipped down into the oxalic acid, and here's the black spot on the leather. You need to go ahead and rub it over the entire piece so it will, the color will match, but that will pull out. I understand that woodworkers use this also if they have some dark places in their wood that will help remove dark spots. Okay, just about got a good even coat on there. I've gone ahead and prepared the breast collar, the end. I've scabbed it on the back, and then taken my 3.5 inch ring, put it in there, and then pulled it down in there like that. Shaped it up. Now I'll put this in front of the fan and let this dry, and this piece will be ready to glue the liner in.